Well, good day, everybody. This is Chris at the Ancient Scholar. I hope this video finds you all doing well. I just wanted to do a quick holiday update. I actually had some plans to put out some content over the holiday season. I actually was able to get just a little over a week off from my primary job, and I was going to devote some of that leave time to doing a little bit of content. And unfortunately, it has been a rather tumultuous cacophony of events that has prevented me from doing so. So I do apologize. It's actually been just at an utter comedy of things that have happened. I ended up having that a weekend off, and things went real well that weekend. I was actually able to get out up to Silver City, did a couple of really nice rides, and then my throat started getting kind of sore on that Sunday, and by Monday developed a really high fever. I was having a lot of chills, rigors, generalized myalgia, and just got actually sicker and sicker from there. I think the worst part of it was just this really high fever, and I was had a lot of difficulty trying to get my temperature down. And as you know, in an adult, generally, what I found is when your temperature gets really high as an adult, you tend to be very uncomfortable. You tend not to feel very good. When your temperature's up at 102, 103, and even higher, it's just very uncomfortable. And I was that way for about 3 days. Ended up testing positive for COVID, and it was a pretty nasty COVID infection. Like I said, it was a 3-day, just really bad experience, and then I've slowly kind of been improving. I was actually able to get out and get a haircut today. I still need to shave. I look like an unkempt mess. But in the middle of all that, some interesting things happened as well. One of the things was the clinic where I've been working, mainly my weekend job. We lost all of our funding, and so they sent out a layoff notice to all of us. And so essentially, all of the staff was laid off, and the clinic is essentially shutting down. Kind of lost my job, or my second job. I still have my main or my full-time job, and then in addition to that, I think it was that Monday or Tuesday night. It's all kind of a blur because I was so sick. There was a bunch of knocking at my door, and again, this is the middle of the night. It's about 1 a.m. I have a really high fever. I'm shaking. I'm kind of having very kind of like lucid dreams / hallucinatory experiences. So don't really know what's going on. And my wife, I don't think this is anything I've talked about, but a few years ago, we think that my wife had a stroke involving her temporal lobes, and she suddenly lost virtually all of her hearing, and that has persisted to this day. So she is functionally deaf. She has very little hearing, and so she didn't hear any of this knocking on the doors and windows, and it took me several minutes to kind of get up and moving and figure out what was going on. And I finally answered the door. It was police, and they had told me that my car was involved in a crime, and I couldn't understand what was going on. And what had happened was, in the middle of the night, somebody broke the back windows out of my car, got into my vehicle, took a screwdriver to the steering column, tore the steering column open, hot-wired the car, and then took off. And a police officer later on that night / morning noticed a car driving around without a back window, essentially, and initiated a traffic stop, and the occupants of the vehicle took off. A high-speed chase ensued. My car, ended up going off the road, crashed, completely totaled the vehicle. The occupants fled. It sounds like they were not initially apprehended, and I'm not sure where things are at now because it's an ongoing criminal investigation. So there's a fairly limited information that the police department can give me. And so that's what happened. So my car got stolen, and in Grand Theft Auto style, led the police on this big high-speed chase that resulted in, the car exiting the highway and going off out in the desert and getting totaled. And so, I've been working with insurance, and they deemed the vehicle totaled, and so they're paying out, but I paid, I think it was about $20,000. And I actually just paid my car off too. I just paid it off in the last couple months. And it gets stolen and totaled, and I get about half of what I paid for it. So it's going to be just enough money to pay for this car, my old Nissan Cube. And so basically now I'm going to have to get a new car, and essentially take on a new payment, and it's just a mess. And so like I said, it's just been a cacophony of things that have occurred that have just really prevented me from devoting any time or resources into putting out new content. So I apologize for that. And it's just, so I've got a lot. I do have a new vehicle coming, and all the insurance stuff should be in the next couple weeks dealt with. But I've got to look at my employment situation, and I've got to look at getting another part-time job. So that's going to take some time and resources, and we're starting a new semester at the college, and there's some things going on there where there's some accelerated classes, and we have fairly limited full-time faculty for the program I teach for. So it looks like I'm gonna have to take on an accelerated anatomy class at the beginning of the semester. So for like the first 2 weeks, to get this anatomy class completed for one of the local fire departments. So their students, they've got a cohort of students in the fire academy, and as a part of that, it's like a 4 or 5 month block of instruction where they go through EMT training, and they need to have an anatomy class as a kind of a prerequisite for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it's like an accelerated anatomy for class for the first 2 weeks of the semester. It's going to be every day of the week, like 10 hours a day. So we'll start like 8 in the morning and go 5, 6 at night, all day, every day of the week, for 2 weeks straight, to get the content preloaded for these students. So that's going to be an interesting experience, to say the least. So all of this is to say that I'm not in a great position to put out any new content for you all. So I apologize for that. But hopefully in the next few months, life can stabilize a bit, and I can look at possibly putting out some new content. So we'll see how things go. But be that as it may, hopefully you all are having a good holiday season and things are going well in your lives. All right, everyone, take care, and we'll see you in the next video whenever that happens to materialize.